Dr. Scott, I feel that I was really blessed in growing up in the community of Acworth, and the neighbors that we had. I had a mom and dad that took time to raise us, and we had neighbors that everybody knew, everybody on a first name basis. It wasn't Leave It to Beaver, Ozzie and Harriet type world, but it came very close to that. And at the age when you're 10, 11 years old, things seem to be a little bit more innocent back then.
Well, I think when we were growing up here, Acworth had a population of maybe 2,000, and had the Acworth Pharmacy and Lacey's, and we would go back and forth there to go to the old soda fountains that they had back in those days. Get a quarter sundae or 35 cents for a banana split and such. And Acworth was pretty busy back in those days. Had the old Gulf station. I think Carl Presley had right downtown here when they used to have the red light and the buildings on the other side where the parking spaces are now, right next to them, backed up to the railroad. But things were, busy in those days. All the other, the retail establishments from J.F. Collins' Son, and Johnny Green's, Allen's, Five and Dime, and such.
Mr. Willie B. Kemp had the pharmacy. There was Lacey's drugstore, Collins Furniture Store, and we had the Legion Theater that was there. Next to the Legion Theater was a little, I would call it kind of a restaurant called the Silver Trolley. And sometimes Dad would take me in there to get some hot chocolate and a cinnamon roll, and I thought, hey, I have arrived. This is it. One particular summer, and this was the summer where I turned 16, my dad asked me, he says, what are you going to do this summer? Oh, I thought I'd hang out down by Acworth Beach. He said, no, I think you're going to, he said, I want you to come up to the mill and work, and you're going to be working with Mr. Cliff Smith in the receiving department, and I want you to work with him. And at that particular time, I think we'd been to Florida, and Honda had made this little, it wasn't really a motorcycle, it was a scooter. It was a 50cc motor scooter that I had really wanted. And my dad said, this would be a good time for you to earn the money, and you could buy that scooter. I said, well, that sounds good. For the first paycheck I get, I'm looking at it, 38 bucks, they made a mistake. So
Taxes.
So I went off. I says, I'm making $1.25 an hour. It should be $50. Well, the ladies, they kind of look at each other and wink and kind of grin. They said, well, we have to take out money for Social Security, and this and that, and everything. Well, that's not fair.
Nobody told you that.
Welcome to the real world.
You were getting $1.25 an hour. I started at 75 cents an hour. So,
well, God bless you.
We were somewhat seasonal, had to build an inventory, and of course to build inventory, that took money because certainly all of our suppliers wanted to be paid. The old terms back in those days, 2%, 10, net 30, meaning they wanted to be paid 30 days after receipt of it. But the prime rate in the late 70s, early 80s had gotten to 21%.
You could tell we were running 3 shifts.
Not complete shifts,
no,
but
shifts. And at the time, probably during our peak period, Dr. Scott, we had 130 employees, and when you gradually see that get below 100 employees, and you go down to 2 shifts, and we weren't, being in the dye house, I could see them processing our orders. They weren't coming in like they were. But I kind of knew something's up.
And Bobby, one thing we actually did the last year that we ran a full year, we did ship as much as we ever had, both from a unit standpoint as well as dollar. We grew the business, but of course that was even putting more strain on the amount of money needed to carry us through the winter and spring seasons. We were growing inventory.
But my dad, he called me when I was at the house, called me, he said, you need to come up to the office. And I knew something was amiss because I could tell by the tone of his voice, and went up there, and he said, we're going to operate for another 30 days, a month.
There was a timeline.
And this was probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. And he said, I need you to tell them, call the employees down there together and tell them what's going on. He kind of laid out the guidelines. And I remember asking my dad, can we wait till after lunch? Because usually after you've had a lunch, you're in a little bit, mood to accept that. And he said, no, you need to tell them now. And I may get emotional. That's the toughest thing I have ever had to do.
Same here.
And even had an employee back there. He said, Bob, if we took a pay cut, would it help out? And I said, no, we ain't going to do that. And we're not have to want to go through that again. Because they were just such great people.
It's very nice. Of course, the town has been revitalized and nice restaurants. Just good.
The city fathers have done an outstanding job through the years of. We've even got friends in Chattanooga that will make day trips down to Acworth to go shopping, visit the restaurants here, and they've done an outstanding job of making Acworth really a historical place to visit.
And keeping, we can walk downtown,
Sure.
and we can walk home in the dark, have no worries. Of course, you can't be totally lax about those things in this day and time, but
When I come down to visit, I always say, Rick, are you ready to go for our walk? And we will leave his house and may spend an hour or 2 hours walking down to the beach, walk around some of the neighborhoods, and just reminiscing about the good days. And they seem to still be here, which is hard to maintain.
But no, this is just a great area to grow up in, and still I think
It
is.
is.